Many blessings. So I just got a question from someone asking about what does it really mean to be surrendered to the highest good for all? Because in our courses and books we often talk about be surrendered to the highest good for all. Yeah. So what does it mean? What does it mean? And why is this important? Well, we are all making choices every day. Yeah, we're making choices, we're making decisions. Yeah, so every day we can do this or we can do this, and oftentimes we are connecting with other people. Yeah, and we're doing things. The result of our own actions is that they affect others, they affect us. So what you do affects yourself, and oftentimes it affects other people in your life, and it affects nature as well. So there's all these effects of what we do. And if we are coming from our selfish ego, me, what can I get? Yeah, what can I get just for myself? Yeah, what can I take? Then we might get short-term gratification and then long-term misery. Yeah, so if you think about most of the problems in our lives and in the world, it's because people have said, I want this thing right now, and then later on they realize that was a big mistake and it causes all these problems. And so what a much better way of going about life is to think, what is the highest good for all? Because that means that what's the highest good for you, right? And what's the highest good for everyone else? So if you're making a decision and you consider what's the long-term benefit for yourself and for others, then you do something and everybody's lifted up. It's like the whole experience goes up nicely. But if we do something and we end up suffering, or we do something and other people cause problems, then they come back at us, and then you can have conflict. Do you know what I mean? So there's endless situations where we might do something and it has all these nasty repercussions that we don't like. So what is the highest good for all? Well, what I personally have experienced, and I've really been tuning into this for a long time, is that when we're operating from this like lower consciousness, ego consciousness perspective, yeah, we're basically coming from a selfish, limited perspective, and it's all me. And what I've personally found is that there's like this beam of light. So there's like, imagine like there's a beam of power, right? A beam of light, a beam of power coming down, and when you're in that powerful light, what you do, you're like connected to a divine source, you're connected to the power, you're in alignment with the universe, you're in alignment with your soul's purpose, you're in alignment with everything. There's like a zone of power. And that when we're in that zone, we've come out of our limited consciousness, ego consciousness, and come into this new place. And when we're there, instead of thinking, we're not really thinking anything, you're kind of in a space and you can see things differently. How is this going to benefit everyone involved? How is this action going to affect others? Right? It's like a zone of power. So there's two states really. There's divine will, and we'll call it divine will, like divine power. Yeah, it's like kaboom. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. Right? It's powerful. It's a high consciousness. And then there's the lower will. Yeah, personal will, ego will. So you've got limited consciousness and divine power. And when we come into that light, I literally see it like a beam of light, like a golden light coming straight down, and there's like it's here, and you go inside of it and you feel you feel that like powerful charge, and then from that place it's pretty obvious that what is going to be the highest good, right? And then when you act from that place, so instead of thinking what can I get for myself, me, you're thinking how can I be of the greatest service, the greatest number of people, and the greatest joy for everyone. Highest good, you could say highest joy, highest happiness, highest benefit, greatest good. Yeah, you can use highest good for all, it doesn't matter. It's more like what is going to bring the biggest amount of joy and happiness and abundance and wonders to the largest number of people. That's the highest good, yeah? The best for everyone. And so we're kind of like, it's like instead of being all like caught up here with our little vision of everything, we see into the future. Yeah, it's like this. Like yesterday, if you check this out, yesterday I just got all these trees cut down. Yeah, so you can see the river. Yeah, because it's better to see a nice view of the river, I think, than it is to just have all these trees. You couldn't see any of this. Yeah, it's like limited consciousness, and I felt it was the highest good for all, to actually chop it all down and start again. Yeah, clean it all up. So highest good of all is basically taking a bigger perspective and thinking, all right, what can I do that is going to bring me the greatest joy and everyone else the greatest joy? And the interesting thing about this is that many times it's not immediately going to bring anyone any happiness. Yeah, like think about relationships. Sometimes in a relationship, someone might be married, right? And they realize that this relationship is actually a problem for me and for the other person and maybe for the kids, right? In some cases, like it's not working out and it's never going to work out and they can't resolve issues, yeah? So the highest good is to get a divorce, and that causes loads of problems temporarily. There's tons of drama in most cases, but then, 1 year later, 2 years later, 10 years later, it turns out to be absolute blessing for everyone, yeah? Sometimes, like, you might be physically unwell, and doing a cleanse, yeah, doing some sort of health practice is unpleasant in the moment. You feel sick, you have headaches, you don't have any energy. But then later on, you get over it and you kind of get cured from health challenges. Sometimes working really, really hard to get something set up, start a business or something, is hard work. You don't go out very much, you lose your social life. But long term, you end up with this wonderful thing that serves you for years to come. So the highest good for all is thinking, what can I do that's going to bring me joy and going to help the greatest number of people as in the biggest way possible? And coming out of personal will, me, what can I get for myself right now? And thinking, what is the long-term blessings, the long-term blessings that can affect the greatest number of people long into the future. And just bear in mind that this might not be pleasant in the short term, highest good. Like for example, I've come to Hawaii recently, I go back and forth between Hawaii and Sedona, and I came to this house and it needed a good clean, and it needed loads of stuff chopped down. So I've actually spent a large amount of my time in Hawaii. Guess what I've been doing? Not been on the beach. I've been up on the top of the shelves, scrubbing and cleaning nasty stuff and getting the vacuum out and going behind all these things and like doing a deep clean. Is it fun? Not particularly, I don't know if you've ever done any deep cleaning. It's not very nice, but I realized if I didn't do it, then that would be a problem. No one else would do it, and you can pay people and all the rest of it. They may come, they may not come. So I just thought, I'm just going to do it myself, So I've spent many hours since I've been here cleaning the house, because it's the highest good for all. It's going to benefit everyone who comes in the house. It's going to benefit... I feel actually happier. I've been to the beach, sitting around and all the rest of it. I feel happier cleaning gecko poo and getting rid of nasty stuff and doing runs to the dump and chucking stuff out. I feel more joy throwing out all the stuff and doing deep cleaning than sitting on the beach, ironically. Isn't that funny, You come to Hawaii and do deep cleaning. Get the broom out. Do you know what I mean? Do a good clean. Come to Hawaii for cleaning, Do you know what I mean? Because that's the highest good for all. It's not the highest good for me to sit on the beach all day long going, oh, this is nice, and swimming in the ocean. That's nice for an hour or something. But then what can I do to be of service? Because it's more fun that way. So highest good is kind of thinking, what's going to be the long-term benefit for everyone? Thank you for all your hearts. That's really sweet. It's long-term benefit for everyone. And short-term, it might be a little bit stressful sometimes. It might be a little bit weird. It might be awkward. But you feel good afterwards. And so you're just asking yourself, what is the highest good for all? And what I've personally found, because I've been in situations in my life where I've had money problems or health problems, I've had all sorts of problems, And what's helped me hugely to overcome all these things is, instead of worrying, yeah, because the mind can get all worried about stuff. Oh my God, what's going to happen? What about this? What about what this? I just say, I'm surrendered to the highest good for all. I'm surrendered to the highest good for all. So I'm going to align my life with whatever's the highest good, even if it's difficult for me. Yeah, even if it's challenging, I'll still be aligned with that. And then the mind actually goes silent. That's the really wonderful thing. The mind quiets down. Yeah, and I've had situations where I've had no money at all, and I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay my bills. I have no idea how any of this is going to work out. I'm surrendered to the highest good for all. And then the next day or the same day, things appear. Yeah, money appears. I wanted to get all these trees cut down out here, and we couldn't get hold of the guy who cuts down the trees, but I was taking stuff to the dump, and I happened to see him as he was leaving the dump. I had to jump out of the car and run down the road just before he turned off, and I was like, come to the house. So he came the next day, and now he's chopped all this stuff down here. So these sort of synchronicities happen when we're surrendered. We don't need to know how it's going to work out. We're just saying, I'm here to do whatever's the highest good for all, yeah, for everyone. And it's an art. You get better and better and better at it. You kind of get more attuned to these things as time goes on. So think long term instead of short term, and think win-win-win-win-win situations. If you win, someone else wins, nature wins, other people win. Like, get as many wins in a row. If you can get 5 wins, you've done well. Highest good of all is not you win and someone loses. That's not the highest good. Yeah, you win, someone else wins, the future's better, other nature's better, people connected to other people are better off. So win, 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 win. The more wins you can get, the more the highest good is. So think about this stuff and really just tune into that beam of power. Yeah, there's personal will, and David Hawkins talks about in his book. Personal will calibrates at 190, which is below integrity. It's like pride, me. And divine will calibrates at something like 890 on his scale of consciousness, which is really, really high. It's like super charge. So you're going from like this limited consciousness to this massive power. Yeah, huge power. And it's a completely different way of living. And you don't have any worries, don't have any anxiety. You're just surrendered and open. Yeah, like an instrument for divine will. Yeah, it's a completely different way of living. And I can attest to miracles and wonders happening on a regular basis by being surrendered to divine will. So you don't have to think too much. You just say, I'm open to the highest good, win, 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 win for everyone involved. And then see what happens, yeah? And then long term, you end up creating all this great karma, wonderful experiences, the best thing ever. And you will be blessed. You're going to be a blessing. You're going to bless other people naturally. And it's just blessings, 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 blessings to everyone. Yeah, your life becomes a gift to the world. So thank you for being such an awesome soul. You're surrendered to the highest good for all, and have a beautiful, wonderful, 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 peaceful day. Much love and aloha. Yay.